Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving School.
Hello and welcome to Oh in the Town. I'm Dave Gregory. What an absolutely incredible day at Wembley we had. A performance to be proud of, full of emotions, highs, lows, worries, and a dreaded penalty shootout. But ultimately we've made it. Little Luton Town, our Premier League. Feels good, doesn't it? We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about the day in whole. With me today we have Steve on Zoom and Bataro sitting right opposite me. Hi boys, how was it? How are you feeling?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Amazing. Yep.
I'm going to just start with Wembley, really. I don't really like Wembley as a stadium, Steve, and it looks special with the blue and orange split, doesn't it? When I hate Wembley as it is, but you turned in that stadium, half blue, half. How special did that feel?
Do you know, it was good. It was a real stark contrast, and it was a sea of orange, it was a sea of blue. Very quickly, just to say, I thought the Coventry lads were absolutely superb. We parked at the Coventry end of the ground, residential parking, and we had to walk past a couple of pubs, and all the time there was sort of lads coming up, quick chat with myself, my mate and my grandson, had a laugh. Top set of lads, top football club, so fair play to them. But yeah, it was our time, and yeah, the colours was great. It was great. I loved it.
Bataro, I mean, for our day, we started off with a massive big breakfast, and then we got the train, and the trains were hugely packed and everything else like that. Were you feeling nervous before the game?
I mean, if any person didn't feel nervous before that game, then either they're unstable or, well, to be fair, I can't say anything. But yeah, no, look, I think everyone was feeling it. The nerves were kicking in, I think, from the night before. That's why we had to drink till stupid o'clock in the morning, get minimal sleep, as you know. But
I forgot we did that.
Yeah, I think it helped, to be fair, as well. But no, look, as soon as I came around here for breakfast in the morning, by the way, Dave, your breakfast was fantastic.
Thank you.
Top notch, by the way. Incredible. I didn't believe it of him, to be fair. But yeah, anyway. But no, look, it was nerve-wracking. As soon as I got up in the morning, it was like, do your routine, your little things that we spoke about last week on the podcast, getting dressed from top to bottom and bottom to top, and,
just to point out to everybody, he did that before he got here.
Yeah, no, of course. I didn't turn up naked. But, I mean, yeah. Anyway. But, yeah, thankfully, got the job done, because I tell you what, I could have dealt with that especially after. But the question is, Dave, how did you feel? Because we never really asked you, not really. Well, I feel like Dave gets a bit left out, doesn't he, sometimes, Steve? Yeah.
I think. Thank you very much. I think for asking that question, Batari, what I would say is I didn't really have any real nerves to start with. I was sort of a bit indifferent, and that sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Very excited, but it wasn't until we got to the pub, we got to the King's Cross, and we had met up some other people. We went with the Aussies, and we. Alan, Lauren and Perry came from Australia. We met up with them and we went to Parcel Yard, met our other friend. And I started drinking maybe 3, could have been 4 or 5 pints of ESB. Then it kind of sunk in because we did originally tend to go to the Loyal Luton bar, but, that went out the window because we were a little bit drunk.
And to be fair, the pub with him in the Parcel Yard was very good as well.
Yeah, the Parcel Yard was good. And when we got on the train going to Wembley, it sort of sunk in what we were going to watch. It sort of had remnants of 1988 to me, how I felt. I was quite excited. When we played Arsenal, I'm thinking, I hope we could win. And I don't want to sound arrogant, but, I think we had more faith that we could win this time. Steve, if we've compared it before, but if you think about 1988 and this weekend, are they similar, or is this weekend better?
There are similarities for me, to be honest with you. I mean, I was 17 when we had the Arsenal game, and that was without a shadow of a doubt the best day of my life as at that time. It was just, that was the day. The thing that was weird, one of my friends was a big Arsenal fan, no longer with us, I'm afraid. And I saw him and I was with him the day before. And I think the teams came out on the Friday, and he said, "You've got a chance here," because he wasn't happy with two or three of the players picked in the Arsenal side. He said, "You've got a chance here." And yeah, I mean, that was just a magical day. I mean, that was real to and fro, sort of on top, then really up against it, and then back again at the end. This became equally the best day in my football supporting life, easily, because the fixture itself is a bonkers fixture. Financially, the importance of it, globally, it is an absolutely bonkers fixture. But then to do it the Luton way, great start. You've gone ahead totally justifiably. A couple of goals that were ruled out. Then you didn't concede, but you didn't concede possession. But Coventry came back into it, and then the extra time and penalties. I mean, it was just so bloody Luton to put it through your ringer. A few people said, people that obviously watch the podcast said, "Oh, how's your heart, Steve? Going all right?" And I was, "All right, okay." You obviously sort of watch or listen to the pod, which I thought was decent, but just typical Luton. But equally, the biggest day in my Luton supporting life.
I think the only sad thing for us as a group was we all managed to get tickets in different areas of the stadium. But having said that, I think the fans made some noise. The flags looked great. The whole tension, the whole build up to the game was amazing. So why don't we just talk about the game just for a little bit anyway? Because I'm sure that everybody wants our opinions. But they've had so many others. But we put out, I think, what probably would have been our strongest team to start.
Big team.
That big team. They walk out of that tunnel, that music's playing, your heartbeat's rattling.
I'm reliving it right now, to be fair.
Yeah, and your heartbeat's going, and everybody's up for it. I mean, literally, if we'd recorded this podcast because our machine was not working, but if we'd recorded it a couple of days afterwards, I would not have been able to talk. Literally got my voice back.
To be fair, it's a good job we're doing it now because, like you say, all our voices have recovered. The other day, we were both like,
yeah, that's going to sound really good, isn't it?
Basically, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So
I think also as well, the delay was intentional to coincide with the great news that Tom Lockyer's being released tomorrow.
Yes.
So another intentional delay from ourselves.
Well, you can say that, Steve, and I'll agree with you for now. We started off really quick and really fast and really just controlled from minute one, I thought. And we got a very early chance, didn't we, with was it Osho?
What, the offside goal?
Osho.
Yeah.
So we talked about VAR in the preview show, and it was to be our downfall. I mean, when you look at it, his right leg is just offside, but it was still a dream start.
It's about
It was on his stride, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. It was that close, but that's the technicality of it. That's what it's become. So that's the way it is.
I suppose so be it. But the only thing is, though, Steve, it did obviously come back to bite us, obviously. But we'll get into that. But like you say, I don't think the linesman even noticed it, did he? The fact that it was offside.
Not sure.
I actually do think the linesman did flag it.
Oh, he did.
I think the linesman flagged it, and then they VAR checked it.
Right.
What I would say about that is, whether it was a goal or not, it wasn't a goal. You can see it was offside by the current standards of the law.
At least you have to sit there with 10, 15 centimetre lines and whatever else and get them all
No,
out
I mean, you could definitely see. You could see why they ruled it offside.
Yeah,
however, the fact I've written a note and I just said it was still a dream start because you score that early, and they go, "Oh my God, this has been constant from minute one," and they've already put one in. Okay, we're lucky there. It's a survive, and it's still 0-0.
I totally agree with that, Dave. I said to my mate, I said, we have still struck a blow there. We've shown them that we can get through them. So I agree. We said that at the time, and I totally agree with that. Yeah.
I think Coventry probably expected the onslaught, but I don't think they expected as it first come out. I mean, if we analyse the whole first half right now, we'd be going, well, we was totally in control. of that game at that point.
Oh, 100%.
And we're playing the game, and then you look up and you see that Lockyer's fallen over, and you don't really. I didn't understand why he'd fallen over until I actually watched it on replays. You know, we know, thankfully, Lockyer is okay, and he's gonna, you know, get back out of hospital, which is cool. But at the time, you're thinking, was it 10 minutes in?
I think maybe even 6 minutes in. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think it was that long.
I think it was 5,
to be honest
6.
with
Yeah,
you.
I think. I mean, it was a scary. I mean, to be fair, like you say, watching back on the replay afterwards, obviously I didn't have signal, so I couldn't obviously get on Twitter or to see what happened. But I thought his knee had gone originally. And then when I got a text through saying that, he's conscious, my mate said, "Oh, he's conscious, by the way." I watched it on TV. I was like, "What? You're joking?"
Yeah,
Like,
someone close to us said, "Oh, it thinks that he sort of got his boot caught in the turf and sort of twisted," but it wasn't. It was just as horrible as it seemed and just collapsed.
Yeah, it was awful, wasn't it? Just, like you say, when you hear the news of like, oh, he's conscious, and you don't expect it, you think you kind of get like shivers down your spine. You think, oh wow, like Rob Edwards, like he alluded to after the game, he went, it's more important for your health and whatever else, which he was 100% correct. But yeah, it was frightening a little bit when you heard about that. It's like, big stage. Obviously he wanted to stay on, obviously for his own sake, for Luton's sake, and obviously not even a selfish point, but obviously you wanted him on the pitch because he's a leader. But like you say, you want his health as well. So unfortunately, that did happen to him. So
yeah, I mean, I would say that the last 2 months, our performances have had Tom Lockyer, totally different character. Tom Lockyer written right through it, though, isn't it? Sorry, keep off the beer, Steve. But yeah, I know. Let it go, lads. Professionalism. How good is it that we were able to bring Reece Burke on, though? I mean, I know he's had his injury problems and stuff like that for a large part of the season, but that is some player to be able to bring on under those circumstances.
Some performance as well, weren't it, lads? I mean, I don't know what you thought, Dave. I thought it was incredible. I thought Reece Burke, when he came on, was fantastic. And you know what, right? You can sit there and go, he's done just as good a job as Lockyer would have done. Or Lockyer, as Steve calls him. But yeah, but no, he was fantastic, to be fair. He like you say, big shout out goes to, obviously, your guy there, yeah. But
I think the concern for me was when you saw your captain go off the pitch, and he'd been so dominant in the last few games we played, you're thinking, can we maintain the pressure that he gives us in his position? Yeah. And you're right, Bataro, Reece Burke comes on and he does a sterling job.
Fantastic.
I don't know who took over the captain's armband when he went off. Does anybody know? I can't remember. That's just an ad hoc question.
Clark?
Anyway, I generally can't remember.
Surely, yeah.
Then we had another chance. I think the Morris. I want to say it wasn't quite overhead kick. There was a little chance where he sort of bicycle kicked it.
Yeah.
And we're still putting pressure on them. We were still making opportunities. At that point, did you think, Steve, at any point, if we don't take one of these, we're going to be in big trouble?
It was stinking of another, we have to kill teams off, because, they were going to apply pressure second half, and you could see the amount of energy that we were using, to create that dominance that we had in the first half. It was a nice warm day on a fair size part of the pitch and that. But, it was disappointing because, it wasn't just dominance possession. We were creating some half chances and they weren't going in. And I thought this really could come back and bite us on the arse.
Yeah, I mean, like, you'd be crazy not to think that as well, to be fair. 'Cause how many times in the past, say, have we seen that as well? How many times we've had, like, so many opportunities to score a goal and it should, like you say, come back and bitten us. But thankfully, it wasn't to be that day. And, luck of the draw, as you would say, then, you boys.
Luck of the draw. Well, what I would say also, when you look at the Coventry forums and social medias, they were all saying that Luton were just totally 100% on top. And then we get that breakthrough. Let's talk about the goal, because, oh my God, what a goal that was. I mean,
come on, let Addy Bio.
Well, before that, Doughty wins the ball. And now, we talked about hoofball the other day, Steve, didn't we? Everybody calls us hoofball. That
Oh,
wasn't
he did
that
it.
wasn't a hoofball, was it? That was an exceptional pass.
No, he just hoofed it up the pitch.
It was an exceptional pass.
I
I don't know if he's joking or not.
I was having a drink with Tony Mowbray, and he said, "Yes, definitely a hoof." I think he toe punted it as well. No, it was exceptional, but I would suggest that is the best moment that we've seen from Elijah, because he turned that guy inside out 3 times. The ball was always close to him. I mean, I have not seen that level of skill and composure from him. Then to do the turn and put the ball back behind him, and then to pass the ball into an area that Clark was running into. Again, a lot of people would have panicked and just played it to feet, which would have stopped him, sort of stopped his run. And then Clark's first touch, his control of the ball, took him past that first defender. And then he had the presence of mind to wrong foot him by going near post. Everything about it, from Doughty's pass up the line, it was just sublime. And as I say, and I've not seen skill and composure from Adebayo like that. He had a terrifying first half as far as Coventry were concerned. He was a monumental pain in their arse.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Like you say about Adebayo as well. I mean, when he first came to the club, was it 18 months ago, whatever it was, or whatever it was anyway. But anyway, I think we saw a little bit of that, didn't we, originally when he first came, when he was playing with a lot of confidence and this and that. Obviously, I think the system changed slightly, obviously, last season and whatnot. But no, like you say, he sold, was it Fadzine, was it, or whatever it was?
Yeah, it was,
He sold him down the river, didn't he? He said, I'll see you later, mate. You're too slow, you're old. It was almost like he was mocking him, wasn't it? It was quite disrespectful in a way. But it was amazing. It was class. But no, look, that is fantastic. Like I said to a few of the boys the other day, I said, if Ronaldo had done that, it'd have been social media. It would have been all over social media. It would have gone viral.
Well, actually,
that gone viral.
In my notes, I wrote that question down. Wow. I actually said, let's talk about his pace and his skill when he received the ball. And that goal in particular, with him, if that was in the Premier League, they would be creaming all over that.
Yes, yeah, of course. I mean, I think Isak for Newcastle did it a couple of months ago against Everton. Similar sort of, not the same, but, that same sort of like side, and got the assist and whatever else. But, oh, wow. £350,000 we paid for him, apparently. That's worth, what, millions? Just that bit of skill there itself. Incredible.
And the pass to Clark, Steve, you're totally right. It was sublime. Bataro, when he did left foot, it was right foot, left foot, strike, left-hand side.
Keeper thought he was going the other way, didn't he?
Yeah, keeper thought he was going the other way. At that point, the place erupted, right?
Oh, I don't know about erupted. I think the place fell down near enough. But yeah, it was shaking, wasn't it? I mean...
It was just desserts, though, for that stage of the game. Absolutely, totally deserved. And really special moment, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, of course, everyone involved. But the question is, gentlemen, both of you, how did you celebrate? How did you celebrate? I want to know. That's what I want to know. I want to know exactly how you celebrated.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't have a flag in my hand because I didn't want to wave a bloody flag at that time. And I nearly fell over the back of my seat by treading on the flag that I was jumping on as I was celebrating with Lauren. And so she saved me from falling backwards over the back of my chair.
That's basically saved your life then.
Well, it's not like I haven't done it before, is it? Think of when I fell down the stairs twice at Wickham.
You're a bit older these days, though, Dave. That was a few years ago.
Yeah, remember? I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's what I did. I mean, you scream at the top of your voice because it's just if people that don't watch football don't know that emotion of when a goal goes in for your team, they don't get it. But it's you can't contain it. You just put it out there and you do what you do. Whether you run down the aisles, whether you jump up and down, whether you take your shirt off, whether I don't know, you just do it. And you don't realise you're doing it. Because it means so much to you.
This is where Steve goes, I've done the old helicopter. That's what he's going to say in it next.
I was evading a flag that was heading towards my eye from the lad in the row in front because he jumped up. He had a flag, so I sort of step inside that and just chaotic scenes really. Sort of cuddle with the grandson and just as it simmered down, he goes, "That was loud, Grandad. That was loud. And I was, yes, boy.
Well,
Yes.
Steve, that would have been the biggest crowd your grandson's ever been in, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, massively.
And then we had another opportunity, and I really wish this would have gone in when Adebayo had the deflection off of the Morris chance, and he had that little step. I looked at it back, and listen, I'm not having to go. He was so good on Saturday; it's unreal. But if he'd have put it maybe his other foot, maybe that goes in.
He should have scored.
I
let's
didn't want.
face it,
Well,
he should have
to be
scored.
honest with you, I was trying to be polite.
No,
I
we're
think
being
he should have
polite,
scored.
but he should have scored. That's the. I mean, look, we've just been honest. He knows he should have scored.
And at 2-0, it would have been, I think, game over at 2-0.
I just think with regards to that shot, for me, and again, I think we're all being sympathetic and lenient with things.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ball was quite central to him on his body. If it had been to the side, and he could have just done the right foot shot, I think that was fine. But it was almost a little bit under him, so he was a little bit tucked up with it. It's one of those ones.
It's the adjustment, wasn't it?
When a keeper lets a ball go that bobbles, there's nothing you can do about it. The bobble looks awful, but your keeper always still looks like a mug. I just think that because he was a little bit cramped up and tucked up with it, it wasn't so easy. So again,
No, of course. It's
I'm not
pressure
going to
as
say
well.
I forgive him. I'm just saying it wasn't as easy as the sitter that we all thought it was at the time.
No, what we'll say we forgive him because just in case, like on the odd chance it comes out and he does hear it, but but no, look, we love the guy. I mean, well, I know I do anyway. I don't know about you two gents, but
I do love him.
He's fantastic. But I mean, look, for me, it's one of those ones where if we hadn't won the game, we look at it and go, if he scored that, if we done this, we've done that. It's one of those ones. It's always going to be like that, like you say, sympathetic because we've won. It might not have been like that, and it wouldn't have been like it wouldn't be a slanging match or whatever else, something like that. But it would have been like you got to put those chances away. I'm sure Rob Edwards would have said to him as well.
I think if you lose, then you always dissect the game in a different way and go through the if, buts, and maybes. But it was a chance. Again, 2-0, we would have been totally justified being 2-0 up.
Yeah.
It was an exceptional first half, but it wasn't to be. On another day, he will get it. So.
Of course, yeah. And let's face it, he
thankfully,
scored harder
was
chances.
smiling on us.
He scored harder chances than what he's missed on Saturday. So we'll forgive him. Had a great season, so whatever. Yeah.
And while we're talking about Adebayo, there was another goal that went in off him, and VAR stepped in again, and you're thinking, this isn't going to be our day, is it? I mean, again, when you watch it, it was clearly handball, but at the time, you don't know that. You don't see that. All you're seeing is a little thing going, check in. They don't show you it back, which is the thing that really pees me off about VAR. Show it back live. Let's see.
Yeah.
You paid £64 for your ticket. Let's see it live. So at that point, you're thinking it could have been 2-0. Disappointing, I know. And then Coventry had the best chance of the half. It would have been, I don't know, Bidwell across to Homo who volleyed over it. And I think, in all honesty, I would say Horvath flapped at it. I don't know. It sort of went over him. And they should have scored.
Yeah, potentially. Sorry, guys, Steve, you go.
I thought it was a difficult chance for Harmer though, because he sort of had to almost do like a side volley onto it. It was coming across him quite quickly. It looked a lot closer where I was sitting, to be honest with you, and we thought it literally sort of just skimmed the bar, but it was a little bit over. A difficult chance, but I think Harmer's an exceptional player. So I think I was a little bit surprised that he didn't find the target with it because I rate him highly.
But that was the only chance of the game that I thought of any significance from Coventry. And then the whistle goes to half-time. You're thinking, well, 1-0, we should be 2, maybe 3 up.
Yeah.
We realised that the second half wasn't going to be the same as the first half, and Coventry come out all guns blazing. And the inevitable happened. They scored. And I think what annoys me more about the goal is that it came from a corner from us. They moved the ball very, very quickly, and it had to be a man, didn't it, Steve?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of work was done, before the shot. There was a few times, particularly in the second half, where they done some like one-touch triangles, sort of pass players. So they were passing the ball quite well second half, but they moved the ball up the wing, really quite well. To be honest with you. and it was a good sort of late run from Harmer. I'm not saying that it was anyone's fault not tracking him, but he just found the space, and it was a lovely pass by Gyökeres, or however you pronounce it, onto him. And as soon as it sort of went to him, I thought, this is it, this is away. And I think it was a good counter-attacking goal. We spoke before about nullifying the counter-attacking because of the way that we play, but I think on that one occasion, they done us a kipper, to be honest with you.
No, I agree.
Tara, there was a slight deflection of Osho.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, does Horvath save it?
It's a tough one, really. I mean, look, the deflection definitely gives it an extra sort of like few inches to the corner of the net, but whether the goalkeeper would have saved it, maybe not. Like, you never know. Like, it's hard to call, but like you say, they did tear us apart with that attack. And it's got to be the two boys for them, isn't it? The deadly duo, Gyökeres to Hamer or Harmer, and then goal. And we knew about the threat, and unfortunately we couldn't stop it. It was just one of those ones.
So the goal goes in. The stadium at the other end goes mental, as they should, obviously. And then, did we all feel that then the pressure's come in here, and they had another opportunity? They blazed over the bar, which
Miles out though, wasn't he?
Well, it might be miles out, but the pressure was coming.
Sorry, you're on about the one, just near the area or whatever. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that frightened me a little bit. I don't know about you, Steve. It absolutely frightened me at one point.
I mean, by and large, though, it was just long range shots, and by and large, they were fairly comfortably wide. So they were having the better of it. They pushed their wing backs up a lot more second half than that, which sort of nullified some of our attacking. But it was there was maybe one close one that you were just alluding to, but apart from that, it was pretty speculative stuff.
Yes, of course.
And there was no real saves to make. And the last 10 minutes of the second half, I thought we'd got a second wind, and I thought that we were starting to put more pressure on it. And Christ, we were leggy though, weren't we?
Oh, massively. I think the heat took it out of us, didn't it, as well? So,
well, it's a very hot day, and you do forget that they're running around in that cauldron down there, and it's warmer where they are than where we are. Having said that, though, fatigue happened, and we get into extra time. And you're thinking now, one mistake can kill it for you, but one glorious moment or one happy decision from a referee will give it to you. I want to talk about the Clark incident with the penalty. Generally, the commentators immediately said it was a penalty. They immediately said it was a penalty. And when you look at it, the goalkeeper definitely touches his foot.
It's definitely a penalty, lads. It's definitely a penalty. I'm sorry, but this is why, right? And I'll say it again. It's a shame Luke's not here, because he would love this conversation or argument or whatever it is. VAR is bollocks. Because it hasn't picked up something so obvious. And people might go, yeah, but it's like contact. It is contact. It's contact at the end of the day. The thing is, right, the goalkeeper straight away puts his hands up and he goes, I haven't touched him, ref. Straight away, when the hands go up, it's a bit like, you're guilty. I'm sorry. That's the way I look at it a little bit.
Yeah, you're by and large right, mate.
And to be fair, why is Clark going to go down in that situation when you've just basically half rounded the goalkeeper? You've basically rounded the goalkeeper. You stay on your feet. You're not going to dive. And his reaction said it all. At first, a quick glimpse on a small phone screen. I went, I don't know, I can't really see it. I've got back home or wherever we were later on in the bars, watched it again over and over and over again. It's contact.
Are you surprised, Steve, that they didn't ask the referee to go have a look at it?
Yes, I am. Yeah, because there was contact. You can see his foot move. There was contact. They want this sort of sterile environment. That's what they want. Well, they didn't want it then, did they? They just sort of overlooked it.
And we got better and better in that second period of extra time. And then the moment that we all thought that young Joe Taylor had won it for us all. I mean, I didn't see the handball. I never saw it. No. All I saw was that goal go in. Let's say I celebrated like it was the winner.
Sponsored by DLA Driving School. That's why, Dave.
Yeah, it's sponsored by DLA Driving School. He definitely is.
He was like, yes. I bet he was like that. I can imagine it.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, that's my boy. This just made me some money.
Hey, boys, just calm down a bit. Just calm down a bit there. But all 36,000 of us thought we'd won it then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
a tremendous,
definitely.
you know, given the fact he didn't, obviously he knew it hit his hand, but at the time he wasn't called for it. So he still, what a finish that was.
Oh, ridiculous finish. I mean, to be fair, like you say, we didn't really see it. I mean, a few people saw it straight away. I don't know how. It was so quick, but I'll be honest, I turned around quick, just briefly. Never saw whoever smashed it at him. Was it Panzo or whoever? And then I never saw that. And all of a sudden I see him run through and goal. So I thought, oh, nothing of it. Everyone's cheering him on. No one's seen it. Clearly no one's saying nothing. And he's tucked it away in between the keeper's legs. And I thought, this is it. This is amazing. I've gone down the stairs. Here we go, like jumping with everyone, blah, blah, blah. I've gone down like, saying a prayer, basically. That's what it looked like anyway. Praying on Wembley floor. And the next minute, I must have looked like a right twat. See, they had CCTV in and I was looking at some moron, do you know what I mean? And then it's gone, oh yeah, check. They kept us waiting for what, about 2 minutes before they disallowed the goal?
I would say again, VAR, we've got to stick with it all next season. So, we've got to get used to these situations.
We can't deal with this.
But they never showed us the incident back unless I wasn't watching the screen. So
I don't recall
I don't recall it. And I think for me personally, that's a bit crap. But however, it wasn't a goal. And then the whistle went and penalties. What were you thinking, Steve, when it went to pens?
I just couldn't see a way, to be honest with you. I think that's just pessimistic. I mean, Horvath hadn't sort of suggested during the season that he was a penalty saving expert at all. On the sort of, I don't know, what do we have? Maybe 2 or 3 against us. I can't recall, but. Yeah, I think you just fear the worst. You know, I wasn't saying, oh, that's it, we're done. You just fear the worst.
Because when we watch penalties for Luton Town,
it never happens, does it?
It doesn't seem to happen. So I wanted to...
Apparently, someone said both teams had lost their last 2 or 3 penalty shootouts. Both teams, apparently.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that fact.
So something had to give, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, sorry, going back to obviously Horvath being about penalty saving, I'm pretty sure the US, right? Obviously, quote me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's kept on the bench for the US in tight qualifiers when they need to penalty shootout, sorry, and he comes on. I'm sure he saved penalties and got them qualified for something last year, sorry.
Okay.
Just a little thing for you. I'm pretty sure that's correct as well. I like to look at that up as well. But
if you're watching on YouTube, correct Pataro in the comments.
Yeah,
if that's,
I'm
that's
sure
probably.
I've seen that saying that the US using for penalties.
I want to
come on.
I want to talk about the penalties. I'd like to talk about them all in particular, but they were all excellent penalties. But it was clear and obvious, wasn't it, that we'd done a lot of training for that, Pataro, and it's a case of, my goodness, they were probably the best 6 penalties I've seen us ever take.
Incredible. I mean, I don't know about we have practiced them. I can't remember who said in the interview after the game. They said, "Oh, we've been practicing a week, blah blah blah." But apparently, they're all shite. Apparently. Why
wouldn't you practice them, knowing that might happen and knowing the prize that's there?
Well, to be fair, I mean, look, for me, right. It's not a silly thing to say. I feel like this is the truth. Like penalty shootout, penalties, they mean nothing. Obviously, they mean something in the end. They mean £170 million or whatever it got us in the end. But the fact is, I can't be mad at anyone for missing a penalty. As long as you hit the target and you don't sky over the bar. Sorry, Darbo. Apologies for that. And Coventry. But you've got to hit the target. As long as you hit the target, you've done your job. Because it's frightening. You've got to think. I think it was 82,000 people there the other day, or 81,000 or whatever. You imagine taking a penalty, right? You gents put yourself in that situation. You've got to take a penalty.
Yeah, you're never going to replicate the stress of the situation or the atmosphere.
Yeah. Of course, it's going to take a toll.
And I think they're the 2 biggest factors in how you perform in that moment.
I think all penalties have a pressure to them, and in this situation, they were all pressures. I look at Morris's, and I thought, perfect start, and let's be fair, all of Coventry's Horvath never got anywhere near.
Yeah, sublime.
I want to talk about Joe Taylor again. I sponsored by DLA Driving School, but what a lad he is. He's going to be a great player for us. I guarantee it. And I would say to you, someone as young as he is to step up in for second place and slot that pen away like he did, Steve. I mean, ecstasy.
Yeah, I mean, it was exceptional for all of the lads to hold it together like they did, and remember. But yeah, for someone who's just had like a couple of cameo appearances, impressive though they were, I mean, this is a whole different level. So he showed guts and composure by scoring the goal that was ruled out, but then to get over that sort of disappointment, to then go up and take a penalty, it just shows that he's got guts. So he's got everything needed. Going back ever so slightly, I think the players said that they'd been practicing these for sort of 3 weeks, and they'd really sort of dissected the situation as well, down to when they were going to start their walk, when they were going to put the ball down. I can only imagine that would be in relation to what the keeper was doing to try and put them off.
I think
So
he did try it, didn't he?
they really dissected the whole situation to take as much chance out of the equation as possible, and then to be able to hold your nerve, because I'm sure Luke Berry said that he knew the keeper was going to be going the way that he was going to be shooting. So to have that added thing, I'm sure he said that in one of the interviews. If that's right, to have that added pressure that you knew the keeper was going to go that way, but his and Clark's side netting,
perfect.
bloody hell. What guts from all of them, because they were all top draw.
Yeah.
So were the Coventry ones, in fairness. So, hats off, lads.
I want to say Nakamba never scored for Luton, never scored for Villa.
I'm surprised he didn't pass the ball out to the wing,
But his penalty strike was good.
Or Bruges, whoever it was, yeah.
Potts stepped up and he's walking down. It's the first one of sudden death, and you're thinking, please, please, please. And I don't, please don't miss. The pressure on Potts must have been more intense. I mean, before we go on though, let's think. We were lucky enough to win the toss to take the penalties our end, and we were lucky enough to get the choice of when to start. Potts steps up, he scores, and now we're all praying that Horvath saves.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's strange, like you say about obviously winning the toss and aiming to shoot that side. In a way, it sounds strange, and like obviously people don't believe this sort of stuff. But I thought to myself, whoever wins the toss is going to win the penalty shootout. But I still didn't believe it, obviously, after. But when we was shooting down to the Luton end, I thought, this has got to be a good omen, surely. Still didn't believe. And when it happened, oh, wow, yeah.
When you watch it back, Steve, and you look at Darboe walking towards the penalty spot, you get a little bit of fear in his eyes.
Oh, mate, you could tell. I said to my grandson, Lenny, I said, he does not fancy this. The whole body language was Chris Waddle all over again. He didn't fancy it. And then when you look back at it on telly, you see how he puts the ball down and his eyes are sort of flicking around and that. And then it's just a blow of his cheeks and he was off.
You could tell his heart was racing, couldn't you?
Yeah, his heart was racing. He wasn't composed. He hadn't set himself. I mean, he was riddled with fear, and I feel so desperately sorry for him. But, it was our time, and, we've had enough go against us. But you could tell that he didn't fancy it.
No, I agree. Like you say, I didn't realise, obviously, until I watched back the highlights. You can see in his face, his body, body movement, everything. It was, and even his run up as well. Have you seen his run up? It was almost like he shanked it at the last minute.
Something else as well for me. The last 2 or 3 penalties, Horvath was getting a lot more aggressive with his movement on the line. He like sort of clapping his gloves and sort of pushing the crossbar. He was getting much more sort of aggressive and sort of imposing. And again, just little things like that, it might just tip the balance. You never know, but he was certainly making out that he was up for it. Maybe that's what made him go, I've got to go right into the corner here.
So when you see that ball go over, I mean, I nearly fell over again, if I'm honest. But what were your initial thoughts? I mean, obviously, we're just unbelievable ecstasy, wasn't it?
First of all, the noise was just incredible. But yeah, I mean, there was loads of jumping, mainly cuddling, and my grandson was crying, but it was those real tears of joy and happiness. And you wonder when sort of you take sort of youngsters to football, Dave. Obviously, with Luke and that, you think, are they going to get it? When's it going to be? And I thought, yeah, it's in his blood. You can see, he couldn't believe it. And I said to him, I said, when anyone asks you what your Premier League club is, you can say it's Luton Town.
How amazing. And
But
no,
honestly,
go on.
sorry, go on, Dave.
I was going to say the celebrations went on for
You
ages.
see, what I was going to say was, right, you said, how did you celebrate? I'll be honest, I didn't celebrate at first. I didn't celebrate for a minute. I didn't believe
What?
it. I didn't believe it. I felt numb. I didn't believe it. No, genuinely, I sat there, or stood there, should I say. I've looked at everyone, I've gone, is everyone really cheering? Have we actually won?
Yeah.
And
Like
it
an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, no, seriously, it didn't. This is the God's honest truth. I swear on my grandmother's life.
Well, I would
It did not sink in until about 30 seconds later. And I went up to Darbs and I just cried on his shoulder.
there was lots of tears. I think we all filled up. Why wouldn't you if you supported the team for as long as some people have? And even the younger generation that have gone there and seen that, as us oldies always talk about 88. We always talk about 88. Now we've got something really good to talk about.
Yeah, see what we've seen. I've seen it now. I've seen something proper, lads. You can stop banging on about 88 now. Yes, in there. Go on. 88 this, 88 that.
Okay,
yeah, well,
so
I was there in 2023.
I'd like to say at this point, and Luke will probably kill me for this, but there's a video taken from the Coventry end, and Luke's obviously working at Luton Town now, and when that penalty goes, if you zoom into the right-hand side of the goal, you'll see Luke jumping and skipping around in celebration, which is amazing.
Oh, brilliant.
That was the first playoff final to go to penalties since 2016-17.
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
crazy. And we're Premier League fellas. You can't believe it, can you?
No. Until we play our first game, they step out, and we're watching them step out onto the Premier League surface or at the Kenilworth or whatever, even though it's a Premier League surface, either way, I will not believe it still. I still don't believe it.
The other thing that touched me when I watched it back afterwards, and believe you me, I've watched it several times.
I haven't yet, Dave.
Okay. Mick Harford's in the stand.
Yeah.
It brought tears to my eyes. He's hugging, and you could see what it meant. And Gary Sweet and the board hugging each other. Gary Sweet was in tears. If I looked around, if I had a mirror, I'd see I was filling up. It was just unbelievable result. Unbelievable result.
This never happens to Luton, does it, lads? This is it.
Yeah, I think
happens.
that's it. The enormity of it all, and you think the amount of work that the board have put in, the hours and hours and hours, right from day one, and the work that Harford and so many people have put in to get us to this point, and it comes down to that moment of chance, and Lady Luck was sort of smiling on us, so it's thoroughly deserved. It was our time, and let's
Fantastic,
let's ruffle a few feathers next season.
Of course. Look, everyone's slating us saying, we're whipping boys, this and that, blah blah blah. I'll tell you what, we're gonna get a few results next season.
Listen, it's going to be. It will be the biggest teams like Luton year you've ever had. Keep those hashtags going, boys and girls, because it will be.
Yeah.
Just a quick thing as well. So I don't know how long we got left, but just a quick thing. Do you know? Obviously, talking about like 2020 ball, and obviously Gary Sweet and whatever else. Do you know what was a lovely gesture the other day? Have you seen Sonny Bradley? What he does? He pulls Gary Sweet from his interview and pulls him towards the crowd, and he throws him. He's like, no, you get over there. You go and celebrate. You go and lift that trophy. And do you know what? Wonderful. And like I said, I'd like to mention obviously Sonny Bradley as well. Top man. Obviously, what a guy really. Over the years, obviously, I know if it takes the mick out of me and whatever else to say about Sonny Bradley, but this guy, I would like to thank him, for everything. I think we all should thank him. To be fair,
he's been a sensational leader for us.
He has literally,
several years.
100%. He has changed it a bit for us as well. New style centre back coming in, different character, proper leader, proper
First
guy as
goal
well.
scorer in the Championship.
Yes, exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, you beat me to it, Steve. You bastard.
Well, what I would say is,
what a guy.
I may know that he may have listened to a couple of these. If he's listening right now, DM us on our social media.
Right, don't try to take this away from me.
No, and Bataro would love to have an interview with you. But we'll see how that goes. I've written a couple more things down. I've written 2020 legends. I've written Pelé. Oh my God, legend and record breaker. And do you know what? Fans, all the fans that have supported Luton all this time, record breaking I nearly swore there. Legends.
Go on, crack on, mate.
I just want to go
Don't
through.
worry.
I forgot at the beginning. I just want to go through some 3-word reviews because the excitement about everything was there. B said, "We've done it." Kirsty, "Am I dreaming?" No, Kirsty, you're not. Wake up. We're there. Ro, "Best day ever." Paul, "I've got no voice." David, "Grown men crying," and I'm a David, and I would be the same. Steve, "So bloody." Is that you, Steve? "So bloody proud."
No, because it's spelt correctly, so that's not me.
Okay. It's not sunk in from George. Kevin,
it's not
"Agony
stepped
and
in.
ecstasy." Richard, "Bring me sunshine." And Tommy, "Premier League bound." It's got to be truly one of the greatest stories in English football history. Truly one of those times.
It is the greatest.
It is the greatest.
It is
Listen,
the greatest.
the next time you go to the Kenny, we're going to be Premier League. That's it for this season, boys. We've done it. Dreams can really come true. Thank you, Luton Town. Thank you, all the players that have contributed to this historic rise from non-league to now. Thank you, John Steele. You said you wanted to be a legend at this club, and that's exactly what you are. Thank you to all the fans that have stuck through us from these most difficult times. Thank you to Rob Edwards for finishing the job here. And thank you to the team for what I can only describe as an absolutely fantastic performance at Wembley. Thank you, 2020. You've done what you said you'd do, and we all salute you. And we know that Luton Town are in safe hands.
Yeah, 100%.
Gary Sweet said, "Stay humble, stay Luton." None of this Billy Big Bollock shit. We'll do that for you. And just think about it. When we get back to the Kenny next season, who would have thought it? Little Luton Town. We are Premier League. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Leave some comments. We'll see you next season. There may be some specials. Take care.
Go on, boys.
Go on, Town.